All right, welcome, function detectives. Today, we are going on a mission to crack the code of how functions really work. And we're going to do that by investigating two of the most important ideas, domain and range. By the end of this, you are going to have a complete toolkit to analyze pretty much any function that comes your way. So grab your detective hat and let's get started. But first things first, every good detective needs to know the rules of the road. So let me ask you, what are the two biggest, most fundamental things you just cannot do in math? Go on, take a second to think about it. These rules are going to be the foundation for everything we do today. And there they are. You can never, ever, ever divide by zero. And at least when we're talking about real numbers, you can't take the square root of a negative number. These two rules, they're our first big clues. They tell us what a function is not allowed to do, which is the secret to figuring out what it is allowed to do. And that leads us directly to our main subjects today, domain and range. So, what are they? Well, the domain is just the complete set of all the possible inputs, your x values, that you can put into a function without breaking one of those two big rules. And the range? That's the complete set of all the possible outputs, the y values, that the function spits out after you give it those valid inputs. You know, the best way to picture this is with a function machine. Just imagine the domain is all the raw materials that the machine can actually handle. You can't just shove anything in there, you don't want to jam the gears, right? And the range, well, that's all the finished products that can possibly pop out on the other side. It's a perfect way to think about inputs and output. Okay, let's start our first real investigation. We're going to find the domain by looking for clues inside a function's formula. This is where we put on our reading glasses and analyze the equation itself to see what it's hiding. We're going to start with the easiest case imaginable. Seriously, when you see a function written out as just a list of ordered pairs like this, finding the domain is a piece of cake. It's literally just the set of all the first numbers in each pair, the x values. So for this one, the domain is 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's it. Okay, your turn. Take a look at this set of ordered pairs. What's the domain here? I'll give you a second. Ready? If you said the domain is the set -5, 0, 5, 10, 15, then you nailed it. You just grabbed all those first numbers. Awesome work. All right, now for our main detective checklist. When you're looking at an equation, you're almost always on the hunt for two specific things, denominators and square roots. So, rule 1 is super easy. If you don't see either of those, the domain is probably all real numbers. Rule 2, if you do see a denominator, you have to figure out what makes it 0 and then banish that value. And rule 3, if you spot a square root, whatever is inside has to be 0 or positive. That's our game plan. Let's see that first rule in action. Look at a function like f of x equals x squared minus 1. Do you see any fractions? Nope. Any square roots? Nope. That means you can plug in any real number you can think of. Positive, negative, 0, it doesn't matter, and it'll work just fine. So we say the domain is all real numbers, which we write in interval notation as open parentheses, negative infinity to positive infinity, close parentheses. Now let's look at rule 2. Uh-oh, we've spotted a denominator, 2 minus x. Our detective alarm bells should be going off, because we know that denominator cannot equal 0. So what do? We set it equal to 0 and solve. 2 minus x equals 0. Well, that happens when x equals 2. So x equals 2 is our forbidden value. It has to be kicked out of the domain. Okay, time for another pop quiz. What's the domain of this function? Remember the rule. Find the x value that makes the bottom part 0, and that's the number you have to exclude. Take a sec. Got it? If you set 2x minus 1 equal to 0, you'd find that x cannot be 1/2. So the domain is all real numbers except for 1/2. You're getting good at this. And finally, let's check out rule 3. Here we see our other suspect, a square root. Remember, the stuff inside the root, the fancy term is radicand, cannot be negative. So we just write down an inequality. 7 minus x has to be greater than or equal to 0. A little bit of algebra, and that tells us that x has to be less than or equal to 7. And that right there is our domain. So we're getting great at finding these clues. But a detective is only as good as their final report, right? We need to know how to write down our answers using the proper official notation. There are really 3 main ways to write this stuff down. First, you've got your basic inequality notation with the less than or greater than symbols. Then there's set builder notation. It looks kind of scary and formal, but it's just a long way of saying the set of all numbers x such that x follows a certain rule.
And finally, you have interval notation, which is what you'll see most often. The key here is that parentheses mean don't include this number, and square brackets mean do include this number.
Okay, team, let's switch gears. Sometimes the evidence isn't an equation, it's a picture, a graph of the function. This takes a different kind of skill, but honestly, it can be a lot faster once you get the hang of it. So here's the secret to cracking a graph. For the domain, you're looking at the horizontal spread. Just scan your eyes from left to right and ask, how wide is this thing? For the range, you're looking at the vertical spread. Scan from the bottom to the top and ask, how tall is this thing? Domain is your x-axis, your left to right. Range is your y-axis, your bottom to top. Let's analyze this piece of evidence together. Horizontally scanning left to right, we see the graph starts at an open circle at x equals -3 and goes all the way to a filled-in circle at x equals 1. Now let's scan vertically from bottom to top. It starts at a filled-in circle at y equals -4 and goes up to an open circle at y equals 0. Those open and closed circles are super important clues. So here's how we file our report using that interval notation. The open circle at x equals -3 tells us that -3 is not included, so we use a parentheses. The closed circle at 1 means it is included, so we use a square bracket. That gives us a domain of -3, 1. We do the exact same thing for the range, a bracket for the included -4 and a parentheses for the excluded 0, which gives us -4, 0. All right, last test on graphs, I promise. Take a close look at this one. What's the domain, that left to right spread, and what's the range, the bottom to top spread? Go ahead and pause if you need to. Okay, you ready? The graph starts at a solid point at x equals -4 and has an arrow pointing right, which means it goes on forever. So the domain is -4, infinity. For the range, the arrow points down forever and the graph goes up to, but never quite touches, y equals 1. So the range is -infinity, 1. Fantastic. All right, you've mastered equations and graphs. Time for the final challenge. A special kind of function that might look tricky, but it just uses the skills we already have. Let's talk about piecewise defined functions. So what on earth is a piecewise function? Don't let the name scare you. It's just one function that has different rules for different situations. Think of it like a character in a movie with multiple personalities. Each personality only comes out for a specific part of the story. And I guarantee you've seen these in real life. Take this museum pricing. The cost is a function of how many people are in your group. But there are two different rules, right? If your group, the input, is between 1 and 9 people, the rule is C equals 5 times n. But if your input is 10 or more people, the rule totally changes to just C equals 50. It's one function with two different pieces. And that is a wrap on our investigation. So let's review the tools in your new detective kit. Number 1. The domain is just the set of all allowed inputs. Your main culprits to watch out for are dividing by 0 and negatives inside square roots. When you're looking at a graph, just remember, domain is left to right and range is bottom to top. So, congratulations! You are now a certified function detective, fully equipped to analyze how any function works. For your final case, think about this. What are the inputs and restrictions in your own life? What's the domain of your daily routine? Something to think about. Case closed. Thanks for joining me on